So now we are in part two of the book. I'm jumping ahead a little bit. What am I doing here? So let me go into a display mode. This HP laptop is kind of funny because it keeps changing the window size each time I open the PowerPoint, and it isn't clear that I can set it somehow. Either way, when you are recording, it requires to have the display option easily available. So I'm complaining. Part 2 is about approaching the world. Part 1 was a state of the world, and next one is about changing the world. So chapter 5 here, conceptual frames for risk, resilience, and sustainable development. As I said in the previous podcast, the last one for part 1, I mentioned that there is a lot of text to be read here because there are a lot of kind of definitions that we need to go through, especially because many of them are particular to the author or his interpretation of the literature. So with the current state of the world on our minds, it's now time to lay the foundation for understanding and addressing our sustainability challenges. Our future is uncertain, and we must find ways to manage this uncertainty while steering the development of communities and societies toward sustainability. However, our world is complex, ambiguous, and dynamic, rendering much of our efforts ineffective at best and counterproductive at worst. So sometimes unintended consequences, and in adaptation I have talked about this in terms of maladaptation. So if you are adapting to something based on the current risk and the planning and strategizing and the details are not done well, then the maladaptation is kind of a continuum where you may slide into maladaptation, which would be counterproductive. Sustainability science has a lot to offer in its endeavor to grasp the fundamental interactions between nature and society, between us human beings and our environment. I am therefore focusing this chapter on presenting conceptual frames for how to approach our world, drawing on sustainability science in addressing the challenges of uncertainty, complexity, ambiguity, and the dynamic character of our world. I think Immanuel Kant was right. I don't know if it's pronounced Immanuel Kant. I hope he could. Immanuel Kant was right when stating that thoughts without current content are empty, ideas without concepts are blind. So this is the translation of the author from German. So you should note the first person narrative. I am doing this, I am doing it this way. So obviously it's a personal journey for the author, and I'm using the book to put down the ideas, and there are other books, Pam Stevens, and so on, and I had to choose based on my own subjective reading of the books, and I'm choosing this one because I couldn't cover all the books. We cover the nice one that I like from Marco Jansen on sustaining the commons, so it'll give you a broader perspective. I'll also cover a couple of books on how sustainability research happens in science and social science, so that should round out the entire sustainability concept for you. This chapter presents fundamental philosophical assumptions as well as a range of key concepts which are all central for managing risk and resilience for sustainable development. It introduces a coherent philosophical framework for understanding and addressing our world, which is intended to bridge between the various functional sectors and academic disciplines necessary for building a safe and sustainable society. It also introduces a comprehensive approach to the concepts of development, sustainability, risk, value, hazard, vulnerability, capacity, and resilience, as well as laying the foundation for managing risk in this context. So when you say philosophical framework, obviously there is subjectivity there as well. So what are the philosophical assumptions about our world? Mentioning philosophical assumptions in a book like this may cause the eyes of both students and the practitioner to start to glaze over. Even researchers from some scientific disciplines may start feeling somewhat uncomfortable, as there are many diverse ways to approach our world. However, managing risk and resilience for sustainable development are, as I have pointed out earlier, intrinsically transdisciplinary issues demanding a common foundation, a foundation that facilitates the contribution of a wide range of functional sectors and scientific disciplines into describing and addressing the core challenges of humankind, which in turn demands clarity in four central philosophical assumptions. I can hear the cleaners standing outside. They don't ring the bell because I warned them against doing that. So I'll leave this short podcast here as an opening and come back and continue with the chapter in the next podcast. Okay?